Welcome, welcome everybody to another wonderful Monday night at Chewin The BBQ Fat. Guys, y'all don't know, I'm so excited about tonight's show. I got so excited. We started the show without going live. I mean, we had a 15-minute show before we found out we weren't live.
15 minutes? We're 30 minutes into my bedtime, man. What are you talking about?
I mean, I tell you what, we had a great conversation going. It was awesome. And then I realized we weren't live.
Yeah, we had 3 guests already. I mean, we thought we were good.
Guys, y'all don't even understand. We're bringing it back old school. This is the way we all started. I mean, I love it. Robert's on tonight. He's got his agenda. He's ready to go. It's going to be a great night.
Yeah. It's great to be back on the Dollar General or Dollar Store of barbecue shows. I'm telling you.
Let's not get that excited. I mean, after this, it's a disaster. But you know what? I feel really bad. So we've got things going on. Robert, why don't you talk a little bit? Let's see if you can't make this better.
Let me talk a little bit about what? I have no agenda. I think you had said on our first round when you thought we were live that one of the things that we used to do when we started this show back in the day was, we wanted to promote contests, right? Well, tonight we have one of the best pitmasters there is out there. My personal hero, Jason Cole of Hot Coals Barbecue.
It's getting deep. Hey, is this thing live this time?
Yeah, it is. That's the second
Just
time I've
checking.
done that. So hopefully I even did it better then.
Yeah, guys, y'all don't understand. The three of us had a great conversation. I mean, we were deep into this conversation and how great his contest is going to be before I realized we weren't live.
I used all my best material. I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
Jason, tell a little bit about, I'm going to bring this back up again. Tell a little bit about your contest that you got going on.
So Smoke on the Shores, we're right outside of Nashville in Lebanon, Tennessee. Great locations, asphalt, 30 amp power, water. There's 4 dump stations on the property, indoor judging. It's coming up. It's in March 17th, 18th. We're having backyard this year. So we're almost full in backyard. We're going to take 42 teams in backyard, and we've got like 4 spots left. So if you're a backyard team, first year we've done a backyard. Yeah. So if you're interested in doing backyard, I would check out the website. And we've got about 20 spots, maybe 25 spots left in pro. So, if you're interested in coming out, and definitely go to the website. We're at the rate we're pacing right now, we're going to need some more judges. So if you're a judge out there and you want to judge, go to our website, sign up. We could definitely use some more judges.
That's awesome. How many years have you been doing this?
Well, this would have been in our 8th year, but we had to cancel because of COVID. So this is our 7th year. Our contest was Jeff Height and I started this contest to do 2 things, really. At the time, there wasn't a contest in Nashville. And, Nashville is a great city to come to, and we wanted to put on a contest. And secondly, we want to give to charity. So we give to the American Cancer Society, Operation Barbecue Relief, and to Operation Stand Down Tennessee. Those 3 charities do great work for great people. So we want to continue doing it.
That's awesome. We talked about it earlier today. In our contest, the Land Barbecues Classic, we had 5 or 6 brand new teams that have never cooked before. Yep. What are you seeing right now with your contest?
We have some teams that I've never heard of, never seen. I think they're brand new. So it's always awesome to see new blood come into the sport. So I'm excited to, see how they do. And obviously, if anybody's next to a new team, obviously help them out as much as you can. Robert never helps me out ever. He never gives me tips and tricks, nothing. Even though I asked, he never gives me anything. So, so don't park next to Robert's. The moral is there.
I remember several years ago, we were next to each other. I think it was in Franklin, Tennessee. And we were tasting each other's food, and you've been winning ever since. I never have a chance when he's there. I see you roll in hot coals. I'm like, crap, here comes hot coals.
Usually when I'm around Robert, I roll my pants legs up because, you know, it gets deep.
With him and Ruse and Twos, it's like the Tennessee 1-2 punch right there. You might as well forget it. When they show up together,
you're in trouble.
Chance.
You're trying to flatter me. So.
And it happens.
He was the first person to sign up this year. So, I mean, he was on it. Of course, you know, he won it last year. So, and I believe that's what got you the draw to the Jack, wasn't it?
It did.
So, there you
go. Paul's asking if you sent out all your invoices for the contest yet, Jason.
No, we on the website it says that I think they're going out the 2nd of January. So I'll send them all out on the 2nd of January. We are trying to have a link on the website where you can pay with PayPal. And we had a little issue this morning or this afternoon with it, so I got to get it fixed. But I'll send all the invoices out on the 2nd of January. So it'll be a PayPal link. Awesome.
Why should somebody sign up for your contest, Jason?
Well, first, it supports great charities, and that's the biggest thing. And our goal is always to put on a really good contest and support charities. But that's the first thing. We support nice charities. We have a great location. I would say that we run a pretty smooth contest. You know, there's no hiccups, knock on wood. And it's just a great area to come to. So we're one of the first ones of the year. Usually it's a large contest. We'll probably have 65, 70 pro. And then again, 42 backyard. But it's got great facilities, close to downtown Nashville. Go down there and get your honky tonk on, come back and cook some barbecue.
And when is it?
March 17th, 18th.
March 17th and 18th.
Yeah.
And it's at the Nashville Fairground
we're right outside Nashville. We moved it a few years ago. Some people remember our location was Nashville Shores, hence Smoke on the Shores, and then it flooded. So we moved the contest in a week to the Wilson County Fairgrounds, and they've been a phenomenal partner with us ever since then. So we stayed there. We moved out of the fields and moved onto the asphalt. So that's really nice. I know that those guys that have the big rigs love that because they don't get stuck like Mark Bowman did. You know, he got stuck in the mud out there. So, we'd love to have you. It's just going to kick off the year in Nashville. We'll have some good times, and we're doing rib burn on Friday night. So if you want to have something to do Friday night, we'd love to have you out there for the rib burn.
It's definitely a great venue for everybody. I mean, it's a great venue for the judges. You have a good facility in there to judge. The cooks, it's a great venue because you're on asphalt, like you said. You're not on any mud. It's usually a good time of year, temperature-wise, and you got great power, great water right there. And for us, if you have a motorhome or any kind of RV where you have to dump your tanks, there's dump stations right there. So you can hit all that before you hit the road and go home.
Yeah, I think there's 4 dump stations on the property. There's 2 right next to us. So before you jet on out, you can use the dump station. So, and if you want to come in early, you can come in early. There's one more thing. I can't remember now.
Where can they sign up?
Oh, go to smokeontheshores.com. All the applications are on there for judges, backyard, rib challenge, and pro. Love to have you.
Any other ancillaries?
We're going to do dessert. It's going to be no entry fee for dessert and probably have a $500 payout.
Gotcha. Nick, Sailor Nick, I would highly recommend. He was one of our new cooks for KCBS. He said he's looking for, he needs to find a way to get there. Jason's a great dude. He's going to put on a great contest. If you can, go ahead and get signed up. I'm telling you, it's going to sign up fast. Jason and I were talking about it earlier today. There's a lot of teams that cook this contest all the time that haven't signed up yet, and there's only 20 spots left. So if you want to get in, make sure you get a spot. Go ahead and sign up. Put your name on the list. Obviously, you don't have to pay until January 2nd. So that's, go ahead and get your name on the list, get signed up, and it's going to be great. Paul also asked, is there a drop-off after Sip and Swine for anybody coming down to Georgia?
That's what I was going to mention. So if you're going to Sip and Swine, you can come and drop your rig off at our place. As long as you don't need power or water, it's free. If you like to have power and water, it's $25 a day.
Perfect. Robert, what do you get? Robert is, Jason, just so you know, Robert's the one that always comes up with the good questions. He's what makes the show. So, Robert, do you have anything else for Jason?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything.
What makes you want to go back to that contest other than you winning it, Robert?
It's like an hour, just over an hour away, hour and a half. Can't beat that.
Yeah.
And what's good is you don't have to go through Nashville, right?
Right.
So
yeah, you can go around.
Very close to the highway. So you're close to the main highway. I mean, you don't have to go down a bunch of country roads. So, and did they fix that? I know there was an issue with the bridge.
Yeah, last year a dump truck hit a bridge, and so we had to reroute everybody like the week of. But the bridge is fixed, so now it's easy on, easy off. Lebanon's got a lot of great restaurants, great little town square, a lot of hotels. I used to live in Lebanon years ago. A little fun fact about Jason. So it's a great little town. So. And it's the site we're at is the home of the Tennessee State Fair. It's one of the largest fairs in the country. They have, in the fair town, they'll have 600,000 people out there for that fair. It's huge.
That's incredible. That is awesome. So yes, Justin Crisp, you can drop off the rig earlier in the week. If you don't need power, it's free. If you need power and hookups, $25 a night.
You got it.
Awesome. Guys, go sign up. It would be awesome to hear him get full really quick. And it's going to be a great contest. I'm trying to figure out if we can go up there. It's our opening weekend of, guess what, Robert? Guess what I have?
Oh, man, that's killing you.
It is killing me. But anyway, yeah, so that's our opening weekend of baseball. But I'm trying to figure out a way I can get up there because I would love to go to Nashville. Sounds like a blast. But
come on.
Jason, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
If you ever want to come back on, let me know. You're always welcome on Chewin The BBQ Fat, buddy.
I appreciate that, guys.
All right, man. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Robert, I tell you what, it is so fun to be able to push contests, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nowadays, it's good that there's a contest, especially if it's a close one for me.
Yeah. I mean, you traveled a bunch this year, didn't you?
What's that?
You traveled a bunch, didn't you?
You know what? We traveled way too far this year. I mean, diesel prices with that motorhome, that's what killed us. We went all the way up to Omaha, Nebraska at one point, cooked all around Kansas City. I mean, we've been all the way down to Savannah. It's just insane. So, yeah. So 2023 is going to be a scale back year for Smoky Silly. Try to save a little bit money, pay off some debt from 2022. But it was fun. We enjoyed ourselves.
Funny thing is, y'all, go to KCBS the website right now and check out who's leading the points, and we'll see how much we're not even going to talk about all that, but there's so much going on right now in barbecue. It's kind of the down season. Everybody's getting ready for the holidays, getting ready for everything else, getting ready for classes, getting ready to get ready for 2023. And I just think it's an important time, as Robert, you said. I mean, it's the downtime. I mean, you need that downtime to recoup, to rest, and make sure you're going strong, right?
But what's funny, even though we just competed this past weekend, you think about, okay, the last few contests, for instance, pork hasn't been hitting it that well. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad we're done. I start to think about, okay, what can I do different or what can I do better? It's always in my mind, right? Because that addiction's there.
I love
barbecue.
I love the thought of you thinking about everything. Because if you don't know Robert, I mean, you can call him, give him 2 days after a contest, and he can give you the breakdown of everything, all the data. I mean, the guy's he's a genius. It's amazing when it comes to all this stuff. And it's all good. I don't know, Paul. I don't know what you're talking about with a scale back at 35. I can't read all that, but
what's that?
Are you on the comments? I don't know. He's talking about scale back is 35. I don't know if that's. I don't know what he's talking about.
No.
Oh yeah, you were scaling back. Yeah, you're scaling back.
We did 36, including the jack. And
I got you. So you're gonna do 34 this year.
Yeah, right. We are not driving to Omaha, Nebraska. Sorry. We did enjoy it, but we're not going all the way up there.
So Robert, back in the day, we came up with this show, Chewin the BBQ Fat. We came up with it, why did we want to do this? What was it? Do you remember why we wanted to come out and have this show?
To talk barbecue.
To talk barbecue. It's been going on for quite a time now, hasn't it?
It has.
Man, and I will say this: the show has never been the same when you decided that you didn't want to be on it. I'm glad you're on tonight.
King of blowing smoke right there, everybody.
Tell you what. All right, so let's talk competition barbecue.
Uh-huh.
Where do you see us today in competition barbecue? Because a lot has changed since we've started this show. I mean, if you remember MBT, we were part of the MBT thing going on through COVID. A lot's happened. So where do you see us now in competition barbecue?
Whew.
That was in the agenda.
I'm a little bit worried because I really do see the backyard growing quite a bit. I mean, the more I'm constantly like going on the KCBS site and looking at new events, right? I check that at least once a day or once every couple days.
Mm-hmm.
New events. I'm starting to see more and more backyard contests that aren't Alabama, right? Alabama's known for as many backyard barbecue contests we have. We're mostly backyard teams right now, and I'm starting to see that grow in other areas as well. So, not that that's a bad thing. I mean, if anybody can get into barbecue, I don't care if you do it in the backyard or you do it in the pro side.
Right.
That's one of the things that we tried with MBTs. We got rid of that whole backyard and pro thing. It was just somebody that wanted to compete in barbecue. All that dividing it up, I guess that helped bring more people in. But no matter whether it's backyard or pro, you have people that are just starting out and people that have been doing it forever, and they're at the top of the game, if you will.
Right. So what you're saying is backyard is bad for. No, I'm just kidding. You're not saying that at all.
No.
The division is. I think the division is what it is, in my opinion. This is me talking. This is not Robert talking. This is me. The division between the two different leagues, because I mean, I still say calling it pro and backyard is interesting to me. I'm a pro, but I don't. There's no difference between me and a backyard guy.
Well, here's the interesting part. If I went up, did like one of the towns this year or in 2023, somewhere in Alabama, and I can't remember the name of the town, but they're doing a one meat chicken and rib one weekend. So I guarantee we're going to have a lot of backyard teams entering that. And we'll probably, if we're not doing anything else, we'll go down to do it. And I guarantee majority of them backyard teams would kick our butts easy, right? They're all cooking at that level.
Not yours, but somebody like me, a mediocre pro cook. Yes, I agree 100%, right? Like, because we did the rib burn in our contest and the top 10, 6 through 10 was, I mean, it was scattered with as many backyard teams as anything, right? Like
you saw that the KCBS Open.
Right. Yeah.
Backyard teams in the mix.
Yeah. So and look, I think backyard's great. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I just think it does do a division when you're like, as an organizer trying to get it together, like, man, if I can have 100 teams. So now you got to start figuring out how am I going to divide out those 100 teams between pro and backyard and everything else when it all is the same. But yeah. neither here.
And I guess I bring that up because I wouldn't mind having the opportunity to go back and just cook a chicken and rib contest.
Right.
You know, especially with the cost of fuel and everything else. I mean, and for some organizers, that's how they're able to have a contest, right? Because they do a backyard and it's only the two meat and it's cheaper sanctioning fees. And, you know, it would be great to go back and cook something like that.
Right.
So I wouldn't have to. And meat prices. I mean, brisket is crazy. Every time I order brisket, I get a notification on my phone when they charge. I'm like, holy moly.
What just happened?
Brisket. Did somebody steal my money?
You know, That's something that, and I'm going to get into David's question here in a second. That's something that KCBS has seemed to have tried to bring up, and they've tried to make that a viable option, but I don't know if it's taken off yet or not. So David asked you, what changes would you like to see for the future of KCBS? Judging, qualifier, qualification, etc.
Well, I always say that the one meet thing was probably one of the better ideas they've had in a while. I mean, doing the one meet, like that town, and I can't remember the name, but they're doing the one meat chicken and ribs. So that means everybody in Alabama can go compete in that,
Right?
Whether you're backyard or pro. So that's good. That to me, that's a good thing. And that might even give a chance for somebody that doesn't want to go do a full contest to come in and just do one meat, right? Just do chicken or just do ribs.
And I'm telling you, as an organizer, and I was talking to Jason about this earlier today, the most expensive part about having a contest is the location and all the needs and everything else that come in with the location for a contest. If you're talking about doing a chicken and rib cook, that's almost back like to the SCA of, hey, you can come in Saturday morning and cook and be done. And it's a lot cheaper for an organizer to find a place to have a contest.
Yeah.
That was for us doing a contest. The hardest part was trying to find a location that's viable that you can raise money for something, right? Like, so with what you're saying, I think it's a win-win for everybody if you can get that way.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
So I'm trying to read questions. Read some of these questions. Robert O says we're lucky we only got the 2 meats and he misses it. Yeah. I mean, I get that. I understand but I also, like, if I don't get to cook a lot, right? I'm not cooking 37 times. So when I do go to a contest, I want to cook as much as possible. So
definitely. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons we tried to get in that SCA cooks. But it's just something about it. I just missed barbecue, right? Cooking all the 4 meats.
Chewin The BBQ Fat is a big fan of the SCA events and all that. So we love what they do. We love what they try to do. And we love all the steak cooks and everything else. So, all right. So Brian Payton says, have the one meats maybe had an opposite effect where the bulk of the teams in one meat comps teams are cooking the 4 meat comps the next day? We had one team at our contest. We had one team show up that all they did was cook the one meat. He showed up in a truck. 10 by 10 tent. I gave him a spot right by turn-ins between 2 teams, and it worked out great. So I don't know. I think I would like to see the public get involved in these one meat contests, but I know that is tough too. But
that, like I said, it gives an opportunity for somebody that doesn't want to do the full contest to come in and maybe just do one meat.
Yeah. Well, Brian, and I'm going to ask this question because I don't agree. I don't think so. All we've done is add $200 to $300 to our comp expense. I guess $100 to join it, and then chicken's what, $30, $40, and ribs I guess could be up to $100 depending on how many ribs. So I guess you could add $200 to a contest. What do you think about that, Robert?
For the cook, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're spending $300 for one brisket, what the heck? You don't have to cook the most expensive meat to do a chicken and rib cook, right? You could make that sort of a cheap thing for you. I mean, then again, entry fee for that. I don't know what's the normal entry fee for one of those.
I think 100. I think we did $100.
Okay, all right.
So I don't know. That was what for us doing it. We were like, we don't know. We don't have a clue what's going on with it. So it was all new to us. Brent asked, Brian, as an organizer, Robert, somebody asked me a question. Nobody ever asks me questions when you're on.
Yeah, right.
What does Robert say? As an organizer, did you feel the rib burn was a positive addition for the ABS Classic? Did it bring any one meat teams? So I thought it was very good. I thought it gave people time. I know it can be a burden to some teams, but a lot of people I talked to tried some things on that rib burn, or they were able to go around and try other people's food and see what's going on. I don't know anybody that did that.
Yeah.
But I do believe it helped, and we did have one team that showed up. But all right, so as the organizer, the other side of that is you're trying to bring in these teams that aren't cooking the contest, and now you got to find a place to put them, and they got to come in and out, and it's kind of a logistical nightmare. So for our first contest, we tried to make it to where you needed to be a cook, cooking the contest to do it. So.
I'd like to see more organizers do the one meat chicken instead of the ribs. For me, I know that'd be easier because of my timeline. For ribs, I got to start cooking. Well, I guess unless I borrow a drum from you, but if I cook it on my normal stick burner, I got to start off around noon, 1 o'clock. And at least with a chicken, it take less time out of my Friday. Definitely be easier for me, but
well, I almost feel like you almost have to be there Thursday, come in Thursday, be there all day Friday. It's harder for those teams to come in and set up and cook that one meat. I know Paul and Lynn, they came in, they cruised in at like 4:30 and rolled with it, right? Like they,
yeah. And I guess that's what I'm saying. I think chicken would be a lot easier because
I agree.
One, it's a shorter cook. And, obviously we're all coming there pre-prepped anyway. So I think that'd be pretty easy. I mean,
well, you're not
if
coming,
you have a 5-hour brine time on your chicken.
Pre-trimmed. Let's say you're coming pre-trimmed. You're not right? Like,
well, that's what I meant.
Right. I don't want anybody saying that.
No, that Robert said I can inject my stuff.
We got to make sure that but you get there and all you got to do is you trim it and you just throw it into brine for 4 or 5, 6 hours, 2 hours, whatever you want to do, and then roll with it. Holy smokes, Robert, Wes Garrett is here.
Oh, good.
I haven't seen Wes Garrett, heard from Wes Garrett.
Neighborhood.
I mean, Lord have mercy. But look, Robert, you bring out everybody. That's what you do. I love it. Carrie says chicken is way easier to cook on Friday. There you go. That's
but I don't think I've ever been to a contest where they did a one meat chicken on Friday. Ribs.
And BBQ did. That was
did they? Figures the one I didn't get to go to.
You're at the Jack.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's awesome. We all do chicken and make Wes Garrett do a one meat brisket. Yeah. Barring a light drum to cook it. Yep. Chicken less expensive too. There you go. So, all right. So it sounds like we need to go to chicken. It sounds like we need to have our one meat rib or one meat cooks be chicken. Hold on 1 second. Robert, you talk for a second. Ellen's making
somebody playing music.
Yeah, my wife. Sorry, she's looking for the remote, and it is in here instead of in the. Anyway, so all right. So what else? All right, we've got all that discussed. What do you think? What are some positive changes that you've seen in barbecue as a whole?
Positive changes.
We all look. I'll be the first to admit we all like to look at what bad has happened, what's negative going on, why this, why that. But one thing that you and I have always been able to do is think about the positives and bring out the good in barbecue. So that's something that what are some of the positives that you've seen happen over the past couple of years?
Positives. J-Cup definitely.
Yeah.
J-Cup's a positive. Oh man!
Speaking of Jacob, I was reading the KCBS new agenda news, whatever they did. I think they have 2,100, 2,300, something like that, Jacob members now, and they're trying to figure out how to get that out there to people to understand. So that seems to be a positive.
I think continuous training is not a bad thing. That's for sure. Because I think what we experienced a little bit this last contest, and I know some others that used to be that same way. There are certain judges that are only cooked this one contest a year, right? Depending on if that's the area they lived, and that's what that why they got trained for it. Sort of that tradition that they go judge that contest. And I always wonder if they go through the J Cup.
That's something interesting for me because by no means am I talking this as being a negative. I do believe it's a positive 100%. But this is something I wasn't ever going to talk about, but I'm going to tonight because I have Robert and we always have good conversations. So
You just want me to piss people off by saying,
no, I'm going to do it. Like it'll be me.
oh, you can piss people off.
Robert is the guy that is all over it. So he doesn't do anything to piss off people. He's the beacon of positivity. Jacob. So in our contest, we wanted to have as many Jacobs as possible. Not all were Jacob. There weren't enough of them to sign up, but we needed 100 and something, whatever. So do you feel, and I have my answers and I'm going to answer it afterwards, after you talk. Do you feel like having partial Jacob and partial non is good or bad for a contest? Does that make any sense?
I think what you did in making J-Cup judges a priority judge to get a spot to judge, I think that's a good thing. Just like anything, and the people that are more trained, that's who you want to do the job, right? And that's all you're asking for, is those people that are trained and up to date on their training. And that's what this J-Cup is. It's continuous really training. I don't know how often they got to do it, or I'm hoping judges get out and at least do it once a year. And that way, they're always fresh. And I don't know how often they're even going to update that. Hopefully they do every time any kind of new rule comes out. But I think the way you did it is the way to do it, right?
Right.
I think that's what they wanted to come out of it anyway. They wanted those sort of people that went through that follow-on training to get sort of that preferential treatment, if you will, to judge.
Right. And that's kind of how I felt. Like if I do it again, when I do it again, I'll do the same way. It's just the non-Jacob, you have the higher and the lower scores. And it's like, but I think you got to start somewhere. You got to get it going. And if you don't start, this is, like I said, this is my opinion. If you don't start somewhere and you don't get it going and don't push it, then it's never really going to be a big thing because really, I mean, I guess this is more of an organizer thing than it is anything. The organizers need to push, hey, we want the J-Cup judges to your KCBS reps. I don't know how much the teams can necessarily, what the teams can do is talk to the organizer. And then when the organizer has that ability to pick and choose the judges or their judge coordinator, however it works. So I don't think the teams are ever going to be able to be like, hey, we got to have it. But what we can do as teams, or what you can do as teams, is go to the organizers and say, hey, have you thought about seeing how many J-Cup judges you can get? And then to me, that's the proper way of doing it. But anyway.
And we're still early on, I think, though.
Very early.
So, I mean, it's good that you sort of did what you did, because that's sort of starting it out,
Yeah, and hopefully they'll get on board with it and they'll go with it. But I did think it was very interesting reading the notes from the last KCBS meeting that they've had quite a few. It sounds like they've had a good turnout, but nobody really knows about it, or they don't. It's not out there as much as they would like for it to be. So, like I say, as a cook, I think the best thing to do is to go to your local organizers and really push that, or even go to some of the reps and say, hey, this is another option that you can do. So I don't know. So
we should have brought that up just a little while ago. Jason Cole, if you're still watching, we want J-Cup judges.
There you go. And I think it's cool. I think it's good to see. Yeah. Is there a hard deadline to be J-Cup certified? I don't believe so. I think that is something that is going to be a continuous training from now on. Correct?
I believe so. It's just an additional way to go out there and sort of get refresher training.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're even required to do it every so often. It's there if you want it, type of deal.
Yep.
But if we require it, we're saying as cooks, hey, we want as many J-Cup judges as you got to an organizer. It's going to sort of, prod those to go out and do the training, hopefully. And
I do believe, I still believe, this is just me, like the way to do it is to go through the organizer, right?
Exactly.
Beating your chest to KCBS, I don't think is going to do it. I think you've got to get to the organizer and have the organizer ask for it. And that's the only way that it's going to get to where we want it to go.
Or it could be as simple as when you sign up and you can write the organizer and say, hey, how many J Cup certified judges are you going to plan on having? And if they don't know anything about it, which they may not, you don't know if those reps or whoever they're dealing with in KCBS is even saying about that. But that puts that question in their mind. Well, what are they talking about, J Cup? You know, and that'll make them ask that question to KCBS.
Yeah. Golly, I love it. All right, so I love this, Robert. It's so much fun. It seems like the biggest complaint at a barbecue contest is about the judging from cook teams. Let's just keep that as it is because it's not always the case. The judges complain about parking. I would like the comment cards to be required for non-J Cup judges. That will give them a reason to get it. Well, all right. So anyway, I truly feel the assigned tables are getting okay. All right. So what else? All right. Here, I'm going to give my take real quick, Robert, on this, and then I'm going to let you give a rebuttal. Right? KCB. I, as an organizer, hired KCBS to come to my contest and to bring judges and to score it fairly and judge it fairly and do all that. So me as an organizer, that's why I chose KCBS to do that. I did and they are bringing their judges to me. So demanding all this stuff from the judges and all this kind of stuff to me is a little bit like, it's not necessarily my role. KCBS has got to figure all that out. But as an organizer, all I did with KCBS was just bring them into my contest to judge it and make sure it was run fairly and smoothly. Not anything else. I didn't hire them to promote my contest or any of that, which I think they can do a better job of, but that's not what I paid them to do. I paid them to come and judge fairly. So I think KCBS and the judges and all that kind of get a different role. But what do you see go ahead. You're thinking.
No, go ahead. So who was your judge organizer?
Tom Morris.
And you didn't pay him. He's not a KCBS assigned employee that does that.
Right.
Right. So really the judges are on you, not on KCBS. And I think that's the confusion we had this past weekend is the organizer was under the impression that because they sort of gave the judge organizer a few perks there for being the judge organizer, that they felt that was now on KCBS if there was a judge issue. And I told them, no, that's not the way it works. The judges are your responsibility, really.
Yes, so I could choose the judges on my own. Like they could sign up, and I could, and not me, an organizer can sign up, and that's what I don't know if that's something that organizers can do. They have that option to do it themselves. They can use the judges portal through KCBS. They can use a judge coordinator, however they want to do it. For me, I didn't know enough judges, so I thought it was easier to let somebody that's a KCBS volunteer handle that for me.
Yeah, because the reps in KCBS, they know people that
right.
Have the ability to contact all those judges and organize that for you.
Right.
Like you're the one that's sort of responsible for the judging. And
I'm responsible for getting them there.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible for their way they score or anything.
No, because they're trained by KCBS there.
Right.
But as far as the judges that are judge your contest, that's your responsibility. That's on you.
Yes. As the organizer, it is us to make sure that, and that's why I was like, hey, I want J Cup judges.
Yeah, that's right. You did take it responsibility by saying you wanted all J Cup.
Right. And I had that ability to do that. They looked at me like, are you sure you want to do that? Why do you want to do that? And and that was their first question, was like, why? And I said, look, because I believe that what they're doing is a good thing. And I've talked about a lot on this show, and I promoted it. So I feel like it's the right thing for me to do, is to have them come in and do that. And we did. And I think it was, personally, I think it ran okay. Wes Garrett, I'm going to smoke you. Like, so, I can't always talk about everything. And I know you're the man, and so I don't want to do anything to offend, because the prison rules, you never know what's going to happen. There are a lot of really good reps that will help with judging, but ultimately they leave it up to the organizer. Yep. And like for me as an organizer, I chose to use a judge coordinator to handle that for me. So
yeah, and a lot do, and that's like the contest we just did in Demopolis. They have a judge coordinator.
Yeah.
For the Memphis area and a lot of area around Mississippi and certain parts of Alabama. Before she passed, Marge used to do that. Marge Plum. I don't know for her daughter, but I think a lot of her friends have taken over that role. The Kilgores, I think, did it down in Demopolis.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we might look at doing on our own in the future. But at this point in time, it's easier to let them handle it. All right, so that's some of the positives. Is J Cup? I don't know how we got here. What else? What else do you see as things that are going in the right direction?
Man, that's a tough question.
All right, let's back it up then. Where do you think barbecue?
You have something in mind, don't you? I could tell.
Yeah, it's all good. I know, I'm just. I think that there's been a lot of. It's very interesting to me, and Jason mentioned it earlier, and we talked about it for us. The amount of new teams that are getting into barbecue seem to be on the rise right now. I feel like there's a lot of new. Not everybody knows them, right? Like, so it seems to be one of those things where our friends that when we got into barbecue aren't cooking as much. But I feel like there's been in the past couple months, 6 months or so, I feel like you've seen a little bit of a growth, and it's not just like overwhelming, but even with a barbecue store, we have seen a lot of new customers come in. We get a lot of messages asking questions about competition barbecue. I just see a little bit of growth. I don't know if you see it or not. You're out there way more than I am.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, I don't see it in my state.
No, you're in
it might be growing on the backyard side, but it sure isn't growing on the pro side. I think we got 1 to 3 pro teams that cook in the whole state, or 4 or whatever. And only myself and maybe Papa Pig are out there
week in, week out.
And I know Eric has just started up going a little bit more often now. I think he had some personal things going on, but I think he's wanting to start back now. But it's only the 2 or 3 of us. So we do have a couple of backyard teams. Hickory Hangover is going to be, I think they're switching over to pro for next year. So that's pretty cool. It's good to see people wanting to switch over. But like we were talking about, I know reasons people want to just stay in the backyard. I mean, one, it's cheaper and it's easier, which is not a bad thing.
No, it's really not. I mean, I think it's any way that you can get more people involved, because eventually people will get tired of being like, oh, there's not anything for me to cook. I'm going to go ahead and cook pro, or I'm going to go to do the Master Series or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the bigger thing in Georgia. We have points chases and we have everything else in that GBC, which you are the champion of. But in that, a lot of backyard teams will say, I'm going to go pro because I don't have enough options to cook backyard as I do pro. So I'm going to go ahead and make the jump just so we have more opportunities to cook. Now in Alabama, if you're at a backyard team, you have more opportunities to cook backyard than you do.
Oh
pro.
yeah, it's total opposite in Alabama. I know everywhere else it's not that way. And that's why we're always going to Georgia, or we're going to Mississippi or Tennessee.
And that's why you're so good. Well, I mean, we all know the reason you're good is because of Lex. But anyway.
Yeah. She's not, yes.
Yeah, I mean, Lex is by far there's so much that can be said about that. Lex is, I mean, if you've ever cooked next to Robert and Lex, you know that Lex is the one that is in charge over there.
She's loving it.
We
The
all
king
know
of
that.
blowing smoke. That's what we're going to put next to you. The Brian Jarvis.
Boy, he's right.
Yeah, exactly. See, I mean, Lex, you are the reason that that Smoke Massilia is #1 in the country, in the world right now, in 2023 points chase.
Yeah,
He's stirring it up.
This is it.
Brian.
Nothing's changed, has it, Robert?
Yeah.
Robert, did you make any great friends this year at the Royal? Especially at the Royal, we got to hang out with a lot of.
Oh man. LC's son Reed signed my hat.
Yeah. What about
He's famous
Joel?
in the kids queue, so I had his signed hat on at the Jack. I think that's why we did better.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. David and Joel get another set.
There you go. Wes has a signed hat.
Yeah, Wes is signing hats.
Oh, definitely.
Lex she won't come on. I was trying to get her to come on, but I don't know. I was hoping that was my way of being like, hey, bring her in.
She
But
was getting her nails done.
Awesome. Bee's Knees, that's right. Bee's Knees is coming back.
Yeah.
He's got him a Jambo.
He does.
Do either of you feel we should lower the threshold of a qualifier to 20 teams? I see too many going south due to not being a qualifier. That's a good question.
Don't get me started.
Okay, we're not going to let's get started on that. I think the qualifier should be, what do you think it should be, Robert?
I don't know. The qualifier has nothing to do with KCBS, right? That's the Royal and the Jack. They designate how many wins you got to have, or how many teams, I'm sorry, that need to be at that contest to make it a qualifier. It's not KCBS. I think a lot of teams out there think it's KCBS thing. No, it's the Jack and the Royal that set that number.
I think people think the Royal is KCBS's Super Bowl.
No.
Wes. But it's it's its own deal, right? Like they have their own rules and they do what they want to do, and they've done a good job with it. I mean, that's 500 teams. So yeah, Robert can dance. So all right, so let's go back to, where do you see KCB? Where do you see let's get rid of KCBS. Where do you see competition barbecue going in the next 2 to 3 years?
I don't know. Like I said, man, cost is definitely a big one right now, especially with fuel cost, and me, it's the cost of some of the meat, the brisket especially. I mean, I love cooking Wagyu brisket, and that's why I moved over to the pro after only like 4 or 5 months in the backyard, because I really wanted to cook brisket. But man, that's a killer on the pocketbook. I just wish there were more options. Probably good. The CBA, not BCA, but CBA
Champions Barbecue.
Yeah. Very interested in that. Unfortunately, it's only down in the Texas, Louisiana area, but I'd like to see that grow up this way as an option. I'd like to get back out there, and maybe I'd like to see actually GBA spread a little bit outside of Georgia.
Or MBN grow again.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the GBA because there's no on-site, right? Still a lot of meat cooking involved, especially if you're prepping. If you think you have a chance to go to finals, you want to be prepared for that. But that's sort of like an MBN in a way, but without the on-site. You just have 2 blind box turn-ins if you make finals.
I thought they had they don't do on-site at all in finals, do they?
Not in GBA. So
okay.
You turn in your blind box, no garnish.
Right.
And then if you make finals, then you got to turn in another blind box.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but you got to be.
GBA is another one that's be awesome. I mean, that's one thing that goes back to the whole pro and backyard thing here in Georgia. Is you got teams that are having to choose between GBA and KCBS sanctioned events, and that can also be a tough thing.
Yeah. But it's good to go try different things like that. And I mean, I think a KCBS cook can do good in the GBA. I mean, I already saw that with other teams. I mean, they like the flavor profiles from what I've seen. So,
So, and wherever you are, right, go try and find another sanctioning body that's in your area, right? Like go try them out and see what's
yeah,
going on.
and I think that's the issue. Like with GBA, is majority of that is south of Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a little bit of a haul for us. But it would be nice to see CBA and then maybe even GBA come up this way.
Right.
You know?
I still haven't been able to cook one, but at our class, I'm really excited about it. At our class, we're going to be having Chuck is going to be cooking a loin. I'm excited about that. Like, to me, that's.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody today, and I was like, you know what, we get the loin's going to be there too. So I mean, I'm thrilled about that. I can't wait to see something new and different, and hopefully that'll get you to, or not you, it'll get somebody like, hey, I'm going to go try one of these GBA cooks. I can do that, right? So, I'm excited about it. Hopefully you are too, because you're going to be teaching that bad boy.
Yeah. That's one of the things I liked about trying the GBA. I know when we did it, we teamed up with Megan Trey, and Trey did the loin, but it was still cool to cook something different like that.
Yeah.
You know, I helped him prep a little bit, but
speaking of teaming up with them, I've noticed a lot of other people are teaming up with others and going out and cooking contests. You see Teddy Camp and all those guys doing that. What are your thoughts on teaming up with other people?
I hate that idea. That's horrible. I never want to do that.
No, I know, right? I mean, it just opens up so many doors for fighting and everything else.
I'm just joking. What Brian's trying to say is we're teaming up, aren't we?
Hey, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I am, guys. Look,
there'll be no Smoke Me Silly. There's going to be no Jarvis Brothers Atlanta Barbecue Stores team. It's going to be Chewin the BBQ Fat barbecue team
at
making our debut.
Guys, y'all don't even know how stoked I am about this. Robert and I have talked about this forever. And you know what? He's chasing points, and him and Lex are just crossing the country, smoking everybody, beating everybody, doing their thing. And we talk all the time, right? And we're like, you know what? Why don't we just do this? It could be a blast, because we had a great time at the Royal, right? Like, we were parked next to each other at the Royal, had a great time, and it is going to be so cool. So Chewin the BBQ Fat, if you look at, there's going to be a team called Chewin the BBQ Fat at Sippin' Swine, and it's us. And guys, he is going to let me cook one meat.
You're cooking two meats. One meat. What are you talking about?
He's going to let me cook pork, and then he's going to micromanage, and Lex is going to tell him to micromanage me to make sure that we have a good chance, because I can't wait. I cannot wait. But what are your thoughts on people teaming up and going to cook contests? Obviously, you're for it because we're doing it. But what do you see the benefit in that and helping it be?
Oh yeah. I mean, we were just talking about, it's the whole expensive thing. If you could sort of share that expense with another team or whatever. And I've done it with the GBA and teamed up with Megan Trey, and we had a great time. I mean, a lot of times, especially when you go into a different whole organization, you have very little expectations, right? So you're just there to have a good time. And if you get a call, oh well, that's just icing on the cake.
Exactly. I mean, literally, I'm so excited to be able to just hang out. I mean, Robert and I, we very rarely get to hang out that much anymore, but so it's going to be a great time. And then Lex, of course, is going to be keeping us in line.
Shoot, she already has plans on. She's going to have a thermos full of apple pie, and she's just going to be walking around. She said, "I don't know what you're thinking."
It's going to be awesome.
I think Ellen's going to be the one keeping us in line.
She might be.
Ellen's going to be walking around with her, and we're going to be screwed.
Jimmy's going to be like, "What are y'all doing?"
Jimmy.
Poor Jimmy's going to be like. Anyway, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be, but it's going to be so much fun. Teaming up with other teams is a lot of fun. Chasing points. Yep. So I think that's kind of the thing is, we talked about, that's kind of why I'm giving Robert such a hard time right now, is he's leading the points in KCBS today. And he's already said, he's like, I don't want to chase it. I don't want to do anything. Because I told him, I said, you're going to back out on me. You're going to see your name up top and you're going to be like, no, I got to go cook. But he's promised me he's not going to do that.
No, that's why we're teaming up. You already paid, so I'm committed already.
We're in, baby.
We're in. You got me locked in.
We're working on
the
logo.
Brent's question. How is Robert going to handle Brian's syrup needs?
I've already got all the.
He's got his 5-gallon bucket full of syrup ready. He dunks that whole pork butt in there, cooks it, and then dunks individual pieces in.
It's amazing.
And he wins.
I mean, it's amazing.
Every time.
It's amazing what, some people brine their chicken and, Brian, we just brine our pork in maple syrup. It's amazing what happens. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. But hopefully y'all out there, if anybody else out there has ever teamed up, like what are the positives? What are the negatives of it? I mean, I think the biggest negative obviously is for the points chase. Right. Like that's to me, the only negative. And if you're a control freak and you can't give up anything, that's another thing. But going into it with an open mind, having fun is going to be our deal. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a chance after that we may not be friends anymore. Who knows, right?
The problem is, like, I won that contest and I haven't had a call since. So poor Robert and Lex are going to be, oh great,
whatever. That's the one. Maybe we'll get one call. That's about it. We don't do all that well there. So
if we get a call, that'd be awesome.
Who knows?
Your pork will score.
We might we might reach a milestone of being dead ass last on something.
Yes.
It'll
be my category.
We'll be looking at each other like maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
Oh, it's so much fun.
So Brian's going to cook 2 meats and I'm going to cook 2 meats, and then we're going to heckle each other at awards because if I cook Robert, he's going to heckle me and say, "What the hell, Robert? You didn't even get a call there.
You're supposed to carry us."
Yes. It should be fun. It should be fun.
Oh, Lex is, and I'm looking forward to Sarah's. The kids are looking forward to hanging out with the dogs. Robert's going to get into a water fight with Sarah. It's going to be a great time. So, all right. What? Wow, it's already been an hour. Holy smokes. You'll be more nervous at awards. That is so. And Brian, can you imagine? For me, like, there's no pressure on Robert because all he can do for me is just bring me up. I'm the one that's going to be bringing him down, and it's going to be awesome. He doesn't even know what to say. This is awesome.
No expectations, like I told you. You got to go in, no expectations.
Zero. Look, we're just going to have a good time and have fun. All right. So what is the thing that you are looking forward to the most, other than Sipping Swine cooking with me and Ellen and Jimmy? What's the number one thing you're looking forward to in 2023?
Definitely scaling back. I'm looking forward to that. But trying to hit some of those contests that we really enjoy going to, we're also thinking about maybe starting up the videos again. Sipping Swine, that may be a good one to do. But starting up the Silly Barbecue Life videos again, that'd be fun. Especially if we scale back, it'll give me more time to edit the videos and things like that. So,
right.
And that was one of the coolest things. It's crazy how many newer teams at your contest, some guy, I don't even remember what team it was, brought up his son to us. And yeah, he wanted to meet you because we watch your videos. I'm like trying to think of the barbecue. No, he said Silly Barbecue Life. Awesome. I thought that was cool. And then I saw another backyard team. They had just started cooking this year, and they're doing well. And he's not a member of the barbecue league yet, but he said he watched all the barbecue and the Silly Barbecue Life and all the other videos out there, YouTube videos, and that's how he's been learning to cook in the competition circuit. So, and he just won Demopolis in the backyard. So,
oh, awesome! Slater Barbecue.
Yeah.
Slater
Yep.
Awesome.
Very nice people.
Yeah, it's amazing
Yeah.
the reach that you have that you don't know that you have, and it's really cool to see. So those are awesome. I think everybody loved watching the Silly Barbecue Life shows. Awesome. I can't wait to come back. And sounds like there's going to be an episode from Sippin' Swine. You heard it here first.
Maybe.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to the Sippin' Swine. That's what going to be our big what we're looking forward to the most, and it's going to be awesome. Robert, I apologize. I kept you up way too late tonight. Us with a miscue of starting early or starting without starting, kind of put us behind schedule tonight. But is there anything you want to leave people tonight with any information?
Oh, goodness. I guess one of the things that I sort of preach every time I'm on here, if you're struggling in competition barbecue in any category, do that whole practice with judges. Get to know the judges. If you don't know judges, contact the reps you know. They know judges. So put a practice together with you and another team. If you have any questions about doing that, go ahead and text me, email me, whatever, on our Smoke Me Silly Facebook page. And I'll tell you the best way to do it. I mean, there's different ways to do it, but.
And how can people get what is your Facebook page?
Smoke Me Silly.
Barbecue.
BBQ, yeah. You put me on the spot here, right?
Can you get a straight?
Yeah. You need to.
Do I need to come and take over for him?
Thank you, please.
Yeah, I'd like you to contact me through my agent, Brian Jarvis.
Look, if anybody comes to me, I can get you in touch with on Facebook and Instagram, whatever. TikTok, they're all over the place.
But yeah, I know we did that. I swear that is one of the things that really, really helped us this in 2022 is we did that practice with judges right in the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We did it at the end of 2021, did it again in the beginning of 2022. In fact, we did a practice, just 2 teams, and we actually had 12 judges. And I tell you what, at least with that many judges, you're able to see any trends and get some really good feedback. So definitely, if you're going to do anything, if you want to improve and do better, that's the way to go.
That's right. I agree 100%. And he knows this guy. If you look at his barbecue data, it's amazing how many people are like, man, I looked up his barbecue data information. He is amazing. Him and Lex are amazing. I'm like, yeah, they're pretty awesome. So, Robert, thank you so much for staying up late. Lex, thank you for putting up with us. You're the best. Y'all have a wonderful night, and we will see you next week on Chewin' the BBQ Fat.